Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're taking a really fun, structured journey into the incredibly complex world of chronographs, and we're hunting down the absolute best options across every single price tier. Now, if you're already fascinated by watch collecting, you know just how dominant the chronograph design is. But today, we're going to break down exactly what makes them tick, and more importantly, what actually makes them worth your hard-earned money. And to keep things interesting, we are strictly capping our climb at the $10,000 mark. Let's get into it. Here's our roadmap for the climb. We'll kick things off by unpacking the sheer mechanical complexity of these watches, and then we'll work our way up the ladder, starting with accessible under $1,000 quartz models, moving through the mechanical entry level, and finally reaching the absolute peak of sub-$10,000 luxury icons. But before we start looking at specific models, we have to tackle a really fundamental question. We see chronographs literally everywhere, right? They're a massive part of modern watch design. But here's the thing. Outside of incredibly complex chiming mechanisms, watchmakers frequently cite chronographs as an absolutely immense engineering challenge. Why? Because you're taking an entirely separate stopwatch mechanism and stacking it right on top of regular timekeeping. It's kind of like building a second engine inside a car that already has one, making them run off the exact same fuel but operating completely independently. That level of difficulty fundamentally dictates the price tag, and it really limits which movements are even available at certain price points. All right, let's start our climb with Tier 1. This is the under $1,000 category, where quartz absolutely rules the entry level. Now, you might be wondering, why quartz? Well, while an affordable mechanical chronograph like the famous Seiko 1963 has some fantastic heritage, a quartz movement is just fundamentally better for most people at this price point. The stark reality is that servicing a cheap mechanical stopwatch mechanism is incredibly expensive. In fact, it will often cost you way more than you paid for the watch itself. No way, right? Quartz, on the other hand, is a game changer here. It allows for much thinner cases, unbelievable accuracy, and practically zero maintenance headaches down the road. So our first standout in this tier is the historically important Seiko Prospex Speedtimer. Sitting at a super wearable 39mm, this beauty is completely powered by light. And you know what's really brilliant about this recent update? It's the sandblasted dial. It features these completely opaque subdials that cleverly hide the solar photocells underneath, all while giving you a massive 6-month power reserve. Just incredibly practical. Okay, to appreciate our next watch, get a load of this number. Back in 2016, an original Bulova chronograph, one that was worn by astronaut David Scott directly on the surface of the moon during the Apollo 15 mission, actually sold at auction for over $1.6 million. I mean, that is some profound real-deal space exploration history right there. Thankfully for us, the modern Bulova lunar pilot is not going to cost you millions of dollars, but it still packs a serious horological punch. It features a high-precision, 3-pronged quartz movement vibrating at a truly staggering 262,000 hertz. To put that crazy number into perspective, that frequency gives you 8 times the accuracy of a traditional quartz watch. All of that wrapped up in a super accessible piece of lunar history. So just to wrap up this first tier, we've got Seiko's awesome solar efficiency, Bulova's high-frequency lunar history, and we also have the Junghans Form C, which is a stunning, minimalist Bauhaus design that perfectly doubles as an elegant dress watch. Moving right along, next up is the under $5,000 mark. This is our mechanical entry point, where crossing that $1,000 threshold finally unlocks true mechanical engines, mostly powered by legendary workhorse calibers from makers like Valjoux and Sellita. And let me tell you, this tier packs some serious historical pedigree. Just look back at 1969. It was this fierce, industry-wide race to build the world's very first automatic chronograph. You had absolute giants like Seiko, Zenith, and a whole coalition including Heuer fiercely competing against each other to change watchmaking forever. It was basically a horological arms race. At this price point, your choices really start to open up beautifully. For instance, you could go with the incredibly durable, hard-wearing German engineering of the SIN 356. It sits at a really compact 38.5mm and uses the super robust SW500 automatic movement. Or, on the flip side, you could look to the Seiko Prospex SRQ047. This one offers a more substantial 42mm case, a gorgeous panda dial, and an in-house caliber featuring a column wheel. That column wheel is a premium mechanism that makes starting and stopping the timer feel incredibly crisp and precise. It's an awesome direct tribute to their 1969 legacy. I just love the sheer diversity in this bracket. Take the Hanhart 417 ES, for example. This was actually favored by the king of cool himself, Steve McQueen. It features a really slick flyback complication, which basically means you can instantly reset and restart the timer with just a single push. Then, comparing that to the Tissot PRX Chronograph, you get this highly integrated modern pop of style, packing a modified value movement with a solid 60-hour power reserve. Two totally different aesthetic approaches, but both offer just fantastic mechanical value. Now, if you are looking for the absolute maximum mechanical bang for your buck, you have got to look at Longines. The Master Collection Chrono Moon phase is hands down one of the most incredibly complicated watches in this entire bracket. It doesn't just time events. Oh no, it packs a pointer date, a beautifully executed moon phase, a 24-hour indicator, plus a full month and day display. And they somehow fit the whole shebang into a really classic 40mm case. So, to quickly summarize this tier, sitting right between $2,000 and $5,000, you can absolutely secure some serious horological credibility. Whether you want the rugged toolwatch vibe of Sin, the extreme complications of Longines, or the sleek wall clock aesthetic of a Junghans Maxbill, there is so much to love here. All right, we've made it to the summit. Finally, the under $10,000 tier. Welcome to the luxury icons. This is where things get really fascinating. Thanks to a brilliant technology exchange between two major watch houses, both the highly capable Tudor Black Bay Chrono and the automotive-inspired Breitling Top Time share something incredibly special. They both utilize the elite B01 movement architecture. This means you're getting a vertical clutch, so that chronograph second hand engages perfectly smoothly without any of that annoying stutter. Plus, it's COSC certified for extreme timekeeping accuracy, and it boasts a massive 70-hour power reserve. Pretty incredible collaboration, right? Of course, absolutely no luxury tier would be complete without the ultimate staple of the watch community, the legendary Omega Speedmaster Professional. Specifically, the classic Hesalite crystal version. This shatterproof acrylic was actually required by NASA so that glass wouldn't splinter in zero gravity. You are quite literally putting unmatched space exploration heritage directly onto your wrist. It just doesn't get cooler than that. But then we have the Zenith Primero. This thing is a legendary high-beat mechanical marvel vibrating at 5 Hz. What does that actually mean for you? It means the second hand glides incredibly smoothly at 10 beats per second. It is beautifully constructed, historically profound as one of those original 1969 automatic chronographs we talked about, and it's incredibly stable. You could very easily argue that this is the greatest automatic chronograph movement of all time. And when you look at a model like the Chronomaster Revival Shadow, housed in a postmodern 37mm microblasted titanium case, it perfectly showcases another massive benefit of that El Primero caliber. It allows for a shockingly thin, ultra-wearable profile of just 12.7mm. And the best part? Ironically, despite looking like this super stealthy modern watch from the future, this exact design is actually based on an obscure, forgotten prototype from 1970 that never originally saw production. Closing out our climb today is the ultimate symbol of motorsports racing, the TAG Heuer Carrera glass box. It features this stunning, prominent domed sapphire crystal, literally the glass box, that extends beautifully right over the edge of the dial. Powered by their automatic movement with an 80-hour reserve, its super clean design and sharp, faceted lugs trace their bona fide heritage directly back to the notoriously dangerous Carrera Panamericana road race. So at this ultimate collector's tier, you really aren't just buying a watch anymore. You're buying the finest elements of horology. We're talking vertical clutches, high beat frequencies, and direct, tangible links to the golden ages of motorsports and space exploration, all from true industry heavyweights. Wow, we've really scaled the heights together today, from brilliant, high-frequency quartz ingenuity under $1,000, all the way to absolute mechanical mastery at the $10,000 mark. So I want to leave you with this final provocative thought. Looking back at everything we've just uncovered, which of these incredible mechanical marvels earns a permanent spot on your wrist? Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and keep exploring.